Hi there, Peter here with Marketing Wealth. Today I'm going to be talking to you about polishing your coin. What does that mean? So your coin is an acronym. Your centers of influence network, meaning your network of influencers, your centers of influence. As you know, because you're in business, leads and prospects don't just fall out of the sky. They don't just manifest because you want them. If that were the case, business would be very easy. But we're all in competition. We all have competitors out there in the marketplace, and there's only so much to go around. And so in this competitive space, we need to be smart about how it is we're reaching out to new prospects in order to have them utilize our services, have them become clients, and grow a successful business. We're all trying to do the same thing. The nice thing and the good position that you're in is that there are actually relatively few professionals in the financial services space that are effectively using their coin, their centers of influence network. Many professionals aren't putting the adequate amount of time in to cultivate this network. And even those that do create this network for themselves find a lack of priority and urgency in polishing that coin. So not just cultivating, but nurturing that network. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you do that. What are some of the benefits of doing that, and how you're going to see your business grow, and not just your business from a revenue standpoint and client acquisition standpoint, but also the amount of fulfillment that you get in the work that you do. That is certainly a big impact of having a well-maintained coin. And I'm going to keep using this term coin. So don't forget what it means. I'll put it up on the screen one more time. C.O.I.N, Centers of Influence Network. So we're polishing our coin. So each of us is different. Each of us has a different personal brand, professional brand within the marketplace. Hopefully we have some kind of niche that we can hone in on. And so because we're all different, and because we're perhaps going after different audiences, and we are creating a different brand within the space, we shouldn't all have the same coin. When we think about, and perhaps when you've looked over reading materials about, developing your brand, developing your network, you've seen some of the same sorts of professions come up as suggestions for you to reach out to. So these might be mortgage brokers, it might be lawyers, others within our existing network, your colleagues, certainly. While that's great, I mean, of course, it's very good to have accountants and bookkeepers and lawyers and things like that in your network. It's also worth noting that there's a lot of people in your space that are going after those same folks. And it's hard to be the priority in someone else's network when there are multiple, financial planners in their network. So really what we're trying to do is to create these really great relationships where if this bookkeeper starts working with a new business owner, and that business owner, it comes out through the meetings, does not have a financial planner, or has a financial planner that's not exactly serving them the best that they could be, what you would like to have happen, I'm certain, is for that bookkeeper to put your name across as a referral. That's the idea. That's the ideal situation, is that you're having referrals come in from your network, so that your business can grow, your client base can grow. Now, if that one bookkeeper has multiple financial planners in their network, it gets diluted. It's more difficult to get a really good stream of referrals. And so what we want to do is not only create this network of people who are going to be referring business to us, but we also sort of want to make sure that we are the only, or one of the only, financial planners in that network, so that we can get maximum benefit from having that relationship. Does that make sense? So let's go back to this concept of your niche. So let's say, for example, you're a financial planner, but outside of your financial planning profession, you're also an outdoor enthusiast. You love going mountain biking or kayaking, hiking and camping, things like that. You really enjoy all of those sorts of things. Well, when it comes to creating your network, that is worth keeping in mind. So it might feel like a bit of a stretch. You say, well, what does outdoor activity and outdoor recreation have to do with financial planning? Well, it doesn't have a lot in common, I'll grant you, but a common denominator between both is that it's people. There are people involved. And so if you are integrated within the outdoor recreation community, that is a great place to plant the seeds about your business so that, if there is a kayak guide, they are also in a position where they are referring your business along, your business card, or referring your name, your email address, whatever that might be, uh, out to prospective clients. So that's just one example. Perhaps you are very much into public speaking. You're in the public speaking world. You go to Toastmasters and you go to events and things like that. What a great opportunity to create a network within that space. Making sure to share what it is that you do and the value that you provide with the people that are in that network with you, so that it's top of mind for them. So that if they're in a conversation with someone where financial planning or financial management comes up, that your name is instantly in their mind and coming out of their mouth into the ears of your prospective clients. Those are the sorts of things that we should think about. So not limiting ourselves to those connections of lawyers, mortgage brokers, realtors, bookkeepers, accountants, but thinking beyond that as well, because we're human beings, we act in this world, we have different networks, different social groups. Those are all potential referral networks. So your centers of influence. So what are some of the things that we can do to cultivate and nurture that network, that coin? Well, the first thing that's very important to do is to gain some understanding, if you haven't already, but gain some understanding of what is the unique position that you hold within this industry. So it's really not enough just to say, well, I'm a financial planner and I help create financial plans and I help my clients with their full suite of tax planning or estate planning and all of these different things. That is what I do. I'm a financial planner. While that may be true, of course, that is true, it's not enough of a differentiator because there are many financial planners, tons. There are financial planners all over the place. It's very, very important because of the amount of competition out there. It's very important to be able to differentiate yourself, to say what is unique about the service that you provide. So very quickly, I will talk about niching because it is important. It does factor in to this idea of cultivating your coin. The three primary ways to niche yourself in your business, and niche, if you're not familiar, is just a word meaning to hone in on a particular way of doing business or a way that you're branding yourself, a way that you're talking about your service, or a way that you're delivering your service. So the three primary ways of doing this, the angles that you can take. One has to do with the sorts of services or products that you provide. So product niching or service niching. So what that means is, while there may be financial planners out there who are, you might say, a jack of all trades, they provide sort of a full suite of financial services and they do everything for anyone. And they couldn't really tell you which of those things they are best at. A part of their value proposition is that they can do it all. So it's a one-stop shop. We hear that term a lot. You come to me, it's a one-stop shop. That's all you need. And so that is part of their pitch, is that there isn't one particular area of financial planning that they're most suited to help with. They can help with it all. So a service niche or a product niche doesn't use that value proposition. Instead, what they say is, yes, I can do many things within financial planning, but really what I'm great at is X, is one or maybe two elements of financial planning that they can say, well, I'm truly the master in this. If you want someone who's going to talk to you about term life insurance or corporate class investments or crypto, whatever it might be, if there's one particular area where you can say, well, I certainly am an expert in this. If someone were to put together a panel discussion at a conference on this topic, your hand would be way up in the air saying, put me on that panel because I'm an expert in this. I'm a thought leader in this. This is my area of expertise. So that's a service or product niche. Another kind of niche would be your client-focused niche. So an example of this might be, well, I offer the full suite of financial planning services. I can do it all, but really my expertise is working with people who are freshly out of a divorce, or are a widow or widower, or someone who's just started a new business, or a new family who's just bought their first home, or someone who has just entered retirement and is struggling not only to figure out their finances because they didn't plan ahead, but also to find their fulfillment in life now that their working life is done. These are all ways to niche yourself on the client side of things, so that when you reach out to people as it relates to your service, you can say, I have advice and guidance that can really help anyone, but who I really enjoy working with most and who I am able to provide the most value to is this group of people. So that's the second kind of niche, the second way to niche yourself. And the third, which is not thought of very much, is a delivery niche. So here's an example of that. I work with all sorts of kinds of people. I offer the full suite of financial planning services, but in the way that I deliver my services, I only do online meetings. I never meet face-to-face. That's just the way I run my business. And I run very tight meetings because I work with busy people. And so the entirety of my business is built on this idea that I do 30-minute virtual meetings, and that's it. And if we can't cover what we need to cover in 30 minutes, we'll schedule another meeting, a follow-up meeting. But that's how I run it. So that is a way of delivering your service that's going to appeal to a certain demographic of people, perhaps very busy business owners who don't have space within their calendar to have an open-ended duration of a meeting. They really would appreciate knowing that within their calendar, if I've got this 30 minutes blocked in with my financial planner, it will be no longer than that 30 minutes. And I don't have to commute anywhere. I don't have to travel anywhere. I don't have to make my office available for them to come into, or my home. I just set up my Zoom, have the meeting, and I'm off with the rest of my day. So that's going to appeal to a certain number of people. So product or service niching, client niching, and delivery niching. So the reason why this is important when it comes to cultivating and nurturing your centers of influence network is you need to be able to tell your network what it is that you do, who you do it for, and what is the way that you go about providing your service, so that they have the words to pass along in that referral. So that when they're talking to their networks that you're trying to tap into, they know exactly how to sell you when you're not in the room. So, of course, the first step before they're able to sell you in the way that you want to be sold is you need to know how you want to be sold. And that is a process in itself as well. But we need to be clear. We need to know exactly who we're providing our service to, what it is that we're doing for them that's of value, and how it is that we are growing our business, how it is that we're delivering that service, so that everyone's on the same page about what it is that we do. So what are some of the ways that you can engage with this network that you're cultivating, this network that you're growing and building and looking after? Well, one of the ways is to invite your network to participate in your events. So let's say that you're putting a seminar on at the local golf club where you're going to be talking about tax strategies leading into retirement. So you might think, well, I'd like to fill the room with prospective clients. And that's great. If you're able to do that, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, it might be worth thinking about that if you have a room filled with chairs that you're trying to fill up with prospective clients who are going to engage with your seminar, leave a couple of seats open or reserved for members of your influence network. So why would I do that? If there's this person in my influence network who isn't a prospective client of mine, you might think, well, that's kind of a wasted seat because they are not going to be a client of mine. So why would I want them at the seminar? Well, the reason is because that seat that they are occupying could actually represent multiple or many prospective clients, because they have a network of their own. And if you're creating this relationship with them, where you're referring business to each other, then that one seat could actually be more valuable than a seat occupied by someone who may or may not become a client of yours. So keep that in mind when you're running your upcoming seminars or even your webinars. If you're running information sessions over Zoom, make sure you're inviting members of your C.O.I.N to join in, to ask you questions, to engage with the material, to provide you feedback after the session is done, honest feedback, because that's something you're very unlikely to get from a prospective client, because everyone wants to be nice. If you say, hey, how was that for you? They'll say, yeah, it was great, good information. While in their head, they're thinking, well, you sort of lost me in the middle. It kind of got boring. You weren't very clear about the point you were making, and I didn't have a good call to action at the end. So I actually didn't know what you wanted me to do at the end of the seminar. These are all good things that feedback from your C.O.I.N would be very valuable, because if you are establishing this relationship where you're helping to grow each other's business, you can very bluntly say, listen, I know I don't deliver perfect seminars. There's no such thing. So it would be very valuable for me if you would attend and let me know maybe where my blind spots are, what was the most compelling part of the presentation, and perhaps what were some slides that I could do without that weren't actually moving the needle at all, that you don't believe would actually help me to secure new clients or secure interest. These are very valuable things to have and a big benefit of having people within your C.O.I.N. So on the flip side of that, another thing that you could do to establish these relationships and to nurture these relationships with members of your C.O.I.N is to attend their events. So if they're having a launch event for a new service they're providing, or if they're having a client appreciation event or whatever it might be, and again, this could be anyone within your network. This is someone that could run the local rugby club. It's someone that could be involved in the Chamber of Commerce, someone that runs a venue that hosts events, someone that runs a service, whatever it might be, whoever is in your network, if they have stuff going on that they're trying to grow their business or grow their network, become involved in those. And we also need to be intentional about this because we can't assume that we're going to get invitations to these things. So reach out on a pretty regular basis, maybe once a month, maybe once a quarter, to these people within your network to say, hey, haven't seen you in a while. Do you have anything coming up that I could help promote or that I could maybe join in and I really want to support you. I want to support your business. I want to see you succeed because all ships rise with the tide. And, if you succeed, we succeed. And if we succeed, you succeed. So reaching out from that position of support and really friendship, if you have a relationship like that, is a really powerful thing. And, it is also the case that if we show support towards them, they're much more likely to be proactive about showing support our way too. So it's not just about, sharing with them that we have this service, and it sure would be great if you would tell your clients or tell your network about it. That's all well and good, but actually doing something for them builds up this sense of reciprocity within them that it actually feels good to settle within ourselves. And what I mean by that is, if you do 3 nice things for me and I haven't done something nice for you, there's a part of me that really wants to do something good for you. And if I can tick that box, if I can say, well, you've done 3 nice things for me, and again, this is operating at sort of a subconscious level, but if you've done 3 nice things for me, and then I do something nice for you, I actually feel some relief. My brain actually releases some chemicals saying, good, that is, settled. I've closed that loop. And so building up this sense of reciprocity within your network is a really good thing. It's a really handy thing to do. So one of the very first things that you should be doing when it comes to developing your C.O.I.N is to put together a loose list on who you believe should be a member of that C.O.I.N. So perhaps you already have people within your network. Those are good to capture. So it's not all necessarily building new connections. You have existing connections within your personal life, within your professional life. Perhaps you are part of a volunteer organization. Perhaps you're part of a sports club. There are places that you already have potential centers of influence. So going through your list of people that you're already associating with and thinking, well, who might be a good fit for referring business my way, and who could I be of value to as well when it comes to whatever it is they're doing? So that's one first step. Another is just thinking about, well, who is my ideal client? And that's a whole other process. That's a whole other presentation. We won't get into that right now because there's a lot to say on establishing who it is that your ideal client is and what your ideal client wants. But assuming that you've gone through that process, if you haven't, please reach out to me. I can help you with that. Thinking about who your ideal client is will help to determine who should be in your centers of influence network, who should be in your C.O.I.N. Because really what we want is for those people who are already in, because really a good strategy is, determining who our ideal client is, and then thinking that next step further, which is what kind of life does that client lead, that hypothetical ideal client, and who is in their life? So you can start thinking, well, whoever already has touch points with these clients are someone that I should be in a relationship with, that I should have a professional relationship with. So let's say, for example, you work almost exclusively with professionals within the medical field. You're a financial planner and your ideal client, doctors, chiropractors, physiotherapists, these sorts of folks. For whatever reason you've determined, these are people that you really like to have as clients. Perhaps you have a background in that field and you've transitioned into financial services, so you understand their business and you have some good talking points. You find it really easy to build rapport with them. Okay, great. Now you can start thinking about, well, who else is influential in the lives of doctors, of chiropractors, of physiotherapists, of massage therapists, all of these people within the medical and wellness field. Who else influences their life? Where do they hang out? What do they read? What do they listen to? What services are provided to them that perhaps you can get in the networks of those service providers? So that's a really important thought as well, because it doesn't make much sense to develop a network of influencers who are influencing people who are not your ideal client. Why would you waste your time with that? Because they're going to be referring you people who wouldn't be a good fit for your business anyway. So that's something to be thoughtful about, is developing your list of potential members of your C.O.I.N. in a way that aligns with not only the way that you run your business, but the clients that you're trying to reach out to, the people that you're trying to access in order to grow your business. So the second thing that you want to do is to determine your communication style so that you have a strategy for reaching out to these people. So for some, email is the way to go. Some people love email, and they're consider themselves wordsmiths. They're very good at writing emails. They're the most responsive when it comes to email communication. For others, they want to pick up the phone, and they have a great way of speaking. They have an incredible ability to persuade when you can hear their voice, when they're able to actually have a conversation. For others, still, meeting in person is the way to go. And so reaching out by text or by email saying, hey, I'd really love to learn more about your business and maybe tell you a little bit about mine. Let's grab a coffee, in a couple days or this coming week. See, that way you can get in front of them and have that conversation that you're the most persuasive in that environment. So thinking, and this is honestly the same process that you're going to undergo when it comes to pitching your services to clients as well. It's really important not only to know who you're talking to, but to think about the way that it's the most effective for you to be communicating. It is important to note that we all have different communication styles, and it is important to align your marketing and prospecting strategy to your own preferred communication style, because that is where you're going to be the most influential. So another very effective strategy when it comes to nurturing the relationships with your centers of influence is offering something that they can then offer their network or their clients. So let's say, for example, someone within your network runs a yoga studio, just as an example. They run a yoga studio, so of course they're offering yoga to their yoga clients. That makes sense, doesn't it? Well, you can start thinking about, how would I be able to position my services or to create some information for people who are interested in yoga? So what is a common theme among people who are yoga enthusiasts or yogis? Well, they care about their wellness. Of course, someone who is investing time and money into the practice of yoga cares about their body, cares about their breath work, cares about what they're putting in their body, their food, their nutrition, their longevity. Longevity is a major, major theme in the yoga community, of course. So you have something to say about longevity, don't you? Maybe not how to live a longer life, because you're not in the wellness space, but how do you manage your finances over a longer period of time? Of course, people are living longer, working longer. The age or the years that we spend in retirement are longer than they've ever been because we're living longer. So that has implications for finances as well, because it's more likely now than ever before that you're going to run out of money before you run out of years, because our years are extended now beyond where they've ever been before. So that's something that you would be able to absolutely put a presentation together on for a group of yogis. Now, you might not have connection with all of these people, but you do have a connection with the person who is running this yoga studio. And so approaching them and saying, listen, I believe I've got something of value to offer to the members of your community, for those who would be interested in hearing this message. And you can pitch it. You can steal my exact words. You can pitch it the way that I did, which is, finances is an important part of living a long, fulfilled life. And perhaps these clients of your yoga studio would be interested in a presentation that is uniquely suited to them, that I could provide. Now, perhaps the owner of this yoga studio will have no interest in this, and that's fine. You have many people within your influence network. This is something that you can offer. You do want to make sure to offer these sorts of things in a way that's not overly salesy. Really, the best way to think about this is what you're trying to do is you're trying to make that person within your network look really good and give them the opportunity to provide even more value for their clients. If you go about it in a selfish way, and what I mean by that is saying, I could really benefit from getting access to your clients. I'm sure I'd be able to get a couple of clients for my own financial planning practice out of your group of clients. So could I get in front of them and say some things so that I can acquire some of them for my business? It's a terrible way of going about it, because that first doesn't really provide any value, or at least you're not pitching it in a way that provides value to that person within your network, but it could actually provide a disservice and make them look bad. And that's, nobody wants that. And so instead, pitching a seminar or an ebook or something that they could deliver to their clients that will make them look good. You're trying to come to this with a sense of generosity so that they really benefit. That's the idea. Ultimately, what we're talking about here is within your marketing strategy, within your business development strategy, make sure you're including your centers of influence network. They should be baked right into that recipe. So it's not just oh yeah, I forgot I should probably reach out because I haven't talked to these people within my network in a while. So maybe I'll just reach out to them and see how they're doing. That's not the right approach. We want to be intentional. We want to be strategic about how we are creating these relationships, how we're nurturing them. Because again, like I said earlier, prospects are not just going to fall out of the sky. They are not just going to find you. I mean, some will. Some prospects will just find you because they've Googled financial planning in the city that you're in and your name happened to come up, but those are few and far between. As you know, referrals make up a huge part of incoming new business for financial planners. So creating a center of influence network is one of the very, very best ways of ensuring that new referrals are coming your way all the time. And like I said before, this isn't purely, or it isn't only for generating new business, generating revenue, making sure your business is financially a success. But as you're developing this network, as more people out in this community, out in your community, are saying nice things about you, sending you new business, and you have clients or prospects coming your way who says, so-and-so said that you were really a great person to deal with. So I'm very happy to have been referred. These are all things that are going to make you feel more fulfilled about the work that you do. And what a powerful thing that is, to really have that visceral experience of knowing that you are doing the right thing. You are providing immense value for the people in your life, for your clients, for the people within your network. And to be able to wake up every day knowing that you're providing that amount of value, to have evidence of that all the time in your email inbox, or people calling you on the phone to arrange appointments, to invite you to their events. These are all things that create a very rewarding experience in our professional lives. And that's what I want for you. And I'm very grateful to have that in my own life as well. And if you're watching this and you don't consider yourself part of my network, I'd very much like you to be. I'm always trying to grow and meet new people. And I love talking about this stuff. So if you have any questions related to polishing your coin or anything else as it relates to prospecting, networking, marketing, branding within the financial services space, please reach out to me. My email address is right here, and I'd love to hear from you. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a spectacular day. Cheers.